What is up, Cage Nation? My name is Kevin Jackwitz, and you are watching the Caged Review. Now, I'm going to start by saying, if you like my channel and you want to hear more about my life, and if you want to find the purpose maybe for yours, or if you just want to come and be entertained, don't forget to hit the like button, subscribe, and share. I'm getting that out of the way first because I want this post to be a bit different. And the reason being is because I've always felt that life should be balanced, and life is balanced. You can have a lot of fun, you can, talk about your movies and your music and your games, all of that stuff, and it's very fun. But life is not always fun. And I think that your channel should reflect all of you. And so what I'm doing today is I'm introducing people to my life. And my life is not the prettiest tale. It is actually kind of a rough story to talk about. And it opens me up in a lot of ways. It makes me kind of vulnerable. But believe me, this is not the first time I've used social media to try to share my story. And I try to share my story because I want other people that might be in my position or similar positions to understand that it's not the end of the world. Things do get better. And there are things that, maybe you're going through now that I've already gone through and I'm still here. And hopefully that'll give somebody hope, maybe the realization that they're not alone in their struggles. So this is just an introduction to a walk in my shoes. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to start breaking down detail by detail how my life became turned so upside down. In my life, I've seen a lot of ugliness, and a lot of that came from being homeless for quite some time. And how I got there is kind of a story within itself. And there's a lot of things that you encounter when you are homeless. You encounter basically the worst of humanity. And you become the worst of humanity. There's very little chance of you walking into a homeless life and remaining untainted. It's just an unfortunate fact of life. I'd like to tell everybody that there's, the possibility that you can walk through the life that I've lived and keep your shoulders up and your head held high and make all the right choices. And the truth is that that's not reality. Reality is sometimes life gives you things that you cannot handle. And it changes you. It makes you do things you wouldn't normally do. It makes you become a person you wouldn't typically be. So this is very important for me to stress this right off the bat with this introduction to this section. I will openly talk about everything in my life. The good, the bad, the ugly, from other people, from myself. I am not the type of person to shy away from who I am, who I was, and what I'm striving to be. Having said that, if you're watching this and you care about my story and you care about hearing what's to come, what I've gone through in my life, the choices that I've been forced to make, take it, listen to it, learn from it. Know that if you're somebody struggling with these things, that you're not alone. If you're just here to cause problems, troll people, I will automatically block you. Trust me, you've not said anything I haven't heard 100,000 times before. There is nothing you can tell me that I don't already know about myself, and I will tolerate no stupidity in this particular playlist because it is very important to me, and it's very important that I try to reach people who need to hear about somebody who has seen the other side and made it through. And so with that out of the way, I think I'll actually start by explaining my very, very early years, which I don't really remember this well. I wrote a journal that I actually turned into kind of a screenplay type of thing. I always thought my life would make a great movie. And I remember reading something in a Stephen King novel where he talks about his memories not being precise places and things. It was more like a fogged out landscape where you just have really scary trees that pop out every so often in different places. And that's how my early memories are. And I don't really know how to explain that because some people have very clear memories from very young age. But I do know that my family was very poor. They were moving from place to place, and my mom used to tell me it was because we were avoiding our real dad. And I always thought it was because we were broke. And I'm sure that's closer to the truth. And it is what it is. My stepdad was a Vietnam vet, and I have a world of respect for that. I have all the respect in the world for what he's gone through. But he had no patience for children. And he was never there. And he was there financially. But that only goes so far, man. Being a provider is more than just putting down a paycheck. And that's all he did. He would come home and watch TV all night, and I really never talked to him all that much. I was going through a lot of troubles in school. I was always a new kid in a new place, and I was always getting picked on because of it. And I never really got the chance to develop peer interactions, normally. I was weird. By the time I hit middle school, I had no social skills. And I was also kind of hidden away from the world, which is never a good thing to do. I was a very shy kid, and eventually I turned into, my fascination with music. I locked myself away, became an introvert, stayed away from people because I was getting picked on too much, and developed a fascination with music. And that was my interaction. That was the only time I really got to hear other people's voices outside of school. And it was just a really awkward stage for me. And, as I got into my later school years, it became pretty bad because kids, when you're the outsider, getting into middle school and high school, can get pretty damn mean, and mean in ways that I don't think a lot of people understand. For me, I moved to a town called Westville, and I really don't have anything against Westville as a town, or even necessarily a lot of the people. It's a very small kind of country bumpkin town. I think when I was there, I was like a one stoplight town when we moved there. And the kids, they just realized that, okay, he's not exactly like everybody else in the school, and he's new, and we don't really want him around us, so we're gonna let him know. And they did. In a lot of really cruel, sadistic, sickening ways. And I'll give you some examples of what I went through in school. I had a kid tap me on the shoulder when I was on the bus, and as soon as I turned around, he threw a cap full of cologne in my face and got down in my eyes, and had second degree, third degree chemical burns inside my eye sockets. That's why my eyes are so bad now, why I'm wearing glasses. I probably wear glasses anyway, but certainly made it a lot worse. And there was no reason for it. I remember I was on a merry-go-round once on a playground, and a kid came up behind, pushed me, and I flipped over, landed, and it was pea gravel on the ground, so I split my head wide open. I was taken to the emergency room. One kid sucker punched me, and my glasses that I was wearing at the time folded, cut my eyebrow, and literally down to the skull. And I remember stepping back, and I put my hand on my eyebrow where I got hit, my eyebrow just fell over my eye. And another instance, directly after this, I was in Job Corps at I think 16 or 17 years old. And when I first got there, I was in a room with 3 racist black guys. And they thought it would be funny while I was sleeping to throw a bunch of lighter fluid on my back and set me on fire. So these are some of the things I went through in school because kids thought it was funny. The torment was pretty bad. I mean, it was literally an everyday go to school, have to deal with teachers reprimanding me for not using my abilities and kids just being unmercifully cruel. There's only so much of that somebody can take before they eventually snap emotionally, and of course I did. Sometimes, I had really bad reactions. And, I'll never understand why another human being has to make someone else feel like that or to treat them like a punching bag. You know what? Kids are always going to be different. No matter where you go in life, there's going to be somebody outside the box. There's going to be somebody who doesn't look like you, somebody who doesn't act like you. That doesn't give you any right to make them feel like less of a person. Because at the end of the day, you don't just affect that person for the time that you pick on them. You leave a lasting impression, sometimes follows them their entire life. And I still to this day deal with issues from my time in high school. And I am going on 40 years old. It's just not worth it. If you're a bully, I really don't know what the answer is. I'd like to say think about the person that you're picking on, but you probably don't, and that's why you're a bully. If you have things going on in your own life that make you feel like you have to be tough, let me assure you that tough is not what you need to be. You need to be smart. You need to get away from the situation you're in. And if you're just a sick, sadistic prick, I would love to say, why don't you just come see me? Because I'm a lot different nowadays. But that wouldn't do any good either. If there is somebody being bullied in school, it's not fun. It's not just. There's nothing right about it. And there's nothing I can tell you that's going to make it any better. Because my words over the internet aren't really going to do much for your life. What I can tell you is that now I am 40 years old, I have a wonderful place, and I have a wonderful group of people around me. I have an amazing support group. Don't give up. Don't let these people beat you down. Suicide, I won't even talk about that because it is not anything that anybody should ever do. I understand sometimes people get so down from the way they are treated and the way their life has been for them that they just want out of it. My words to you is that it's never worth it. Life can always get better, and oftentimes will. You have to be mentally strong. You have to be of a frame of mind that nobody's words will ever hurt you. And if somebody's hands hurt you, then you need to go through the immediate proper channels. I don't care if it's your family, people at school, you go to your relatives, you go to the police if you have to. And let them know that it is not okay. And I think that is my first major message, is for those that are getting bullied, life gets better. There is a light at the end of the tunnel. You just have to be strong enough to hold on and walk it out. And you'll get there. You will. And I think for this edition, I just wanted this to be an introduction, but I guess I also added the brief synopsis of my school years and what I had to go through. So let me take care of that, and I will start my next edition later. This is Kevin Jackowitz with the Cage Nation. Cage Nation out.